Hey guys, this is Karan here. I live in Saudi Arabia studying 10th grade in Yambo International School. What I want you to do in this section is basically take a look at this pattern over here, observe what's happening. Okay? Now, you see 1 is equal to 1 square, 1 plus 3 which is equal to 4 which is equal to 2 square, this which is equal to 9 is equal to 3 square, this is equal to 16 which is equal to 4 square, this is equal to 25 which is equal to 5 square. Okay, now what we can observe from this and make a formula out of this would be the Sn term would be 1 plus 3 plus 5 and so other numbers would be 2n minus 1 would give us the n squared. Okay? This is the formula that we can generate. Now this over here is the mathematical induction that we'll talk about. Now to prove the mathematical induction, which is Pn, so you need to show the proportions. The first proportion is true. The second, the truth of proportion implies the truth of PR plus 1. So we talked about rules right now, but we didn't quite understand it. So what we are going to do is basically take an example and talk about it. So let's go and talk about the example. So let's go and prove that this Sn is equal to 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus so on plus 2n minus 1 would basically is equal to n squared. So to prove this, first for n is equal to 1, Sn, which basically is 1, n is equal to 1, so Sn would be equal to 1 is equal to 1 squared, right? 2 times 1 is 2, minus 1 is 1, so is equal to n squared. Okay? Now second, let's assume the truth of, let's say, SR term, which basically says 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus blah 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 plus 2r minus 1 would give us r squared. Does this imply the truth for saying such as this kind of information, which basically yields out SR plus 1 is equal to R plus 1 squared. Is this equal? Well, we can truly say that we can generate something else out of this. Let me just go ahead and erase the first step. Basically, we can conclude that SR plus 1 that we found out would be equal to SR. Over here, that would be right here, 2k plus 1 would be there. Okay, 2r plus 1. Okay, now this would basically include as this over here. Basically, SR plus 1 would be equal to r squared plus 2r plus 1. And we can continue on with this as r plus 1 basically is equal to r plus 1 squared. So we can conclude this as this over here. Okay, now for n is equal to 1, S1 would be equal to 1, and then 1 bracket 1 plus 1 divided by 2, which is 2 over 2, would be equal to 1 as well, right? So let's go ahead and do that to show you visually what I'm talking about. So the first thing we said that for n, which is equal to 1, let's put it as 1, so S1 would be equal to 1, right? So it would be, how are we going to prove that? Well, 1 times 1 plus n all divided by 2. Well, n we said to be 1, so let's go ahead and replace that this would be 1 bracket 1 plus 1. Okay, that would be 2. So 2 times 1 is 2. 2 over 2, which yields out 1. Yep, that's exactly correct. So S1 would be 1. Now let's go ahead and assume the truth as well. So we form the formula right here. We can say the R times R plus 1 divided by 2. Okay? Does this imply the truth as saying like this? It would be R plus 1 times R plus 2 divided by 2. Be the same over here as well. Now basically what are we trying to do is basically generate the formula for the R term. Okay, using this formula that we just talked about. So for the R term, we can say that it would be basically 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus so on until R, which is basically equal over 2. This is what we found out in the formula, right? So what if you want to add R plus 1? Well, basically it would be 1 plus 1, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus blah 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 till R plus 1, right? Because we want a number greater than R, so it would be R plus 1 right here. Same applies with if you put R plus 2, basically it would be, instead of if you put 2, this would be changed into 2. So even if you take infinity, it would be infinity plus 2. Okay? So that's the whole point to generate the series right here, which we are talking about. Now let's go ahead and take R as R plus 1. Basically we found out to be as R plus 1 over 2 plus R plus 1. Okay? This would, if you simplify this, at the end of the day you would basically get R plus 1 times R plus 2 all divided by 2. You multiply and you get this answer. Okay, so in this section we talked about the whole series things, that how to generate basically the high-five formulas of the R term or the N term, and find out the series going on and find out the formulas, the pattern which is going on in the series. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a like, comment and subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. There's a Facebook page down below in the description. Give that a like as well. Thank you for watching, guys. As always, peace out.